Hey everybody, Z Garcia here, and today we're going to be ghosts, scaring out nosy ghost hunters out of our spooky mansions in Haunt the House. In this game, the players are going to be playing spooky cards to different rooms in the house, each one which has a ghost hunter in there, in order to scare that person out. But you might not be the one who gets a chance at scaring that specific character out of that room, because as the cards build up, eventually there will be enough cards in there to satisfy the needs of that person becoming scared and actually running off. It's a fairly simple concept. I'm going to go ahead and show you how it works. We'll come on back after that. I'll tell you what I think of it and who I think it might be good for. Here we have a game set up for 3 players. We've got 4 rooms in play, 1 ghost hunter in each of those rooms. Everyone has their own deck of cards made up of different scare tactics. You're going to shuffle that up. You're going to draw 3. Everyone will begin with 3. You've got set aside the skull tokens here. These are victory points, and you'll get points from those as well as scaring these ghost hunters out of the mansion. They are going to have symbols in the top corner, and the more of the same kind of symbol you've got, the more points you're going to get. Everyone also begins with one of these tokens already hidden, so these match some of the ghost hunters, and they will, of course, give you an incentive to capture some of them or scare some of them more than others. So having this symbol means I want to prioritize this ghost hunter because I have a matching symbol there. The way it works is, on my turn, I am going to do one of 2 things. I can either play actions, or I can yell boo and try to scare someone out of a specific room. Now, if I do actions, I have 3 choices. I can play a card face down to one of these rooms, and I would put it below the room, like so, okay? So this one is in this room here. This card can or cannot match the symbols needed to scare that ghost hunter out. I might be bluffing. So it's possible it does match, it's possible it does not. I could also play 1 card face up to one of the ghost hunters. If I do that, it's going to go above the room. So in this case, it would go right here to that room. And then I am telling everyone else what card is in that room, but I'm also getting a special ability for playing that face up, printed right on the card. In this case, this one says, peek at one room's invisible scares. I probably wouldn't do that right now, seeing as to how there are no invisible scares in play, but that's how that goes. So that also would be an action. And then finally, you can draw back up to 3 cards, but you can only do this if you have no cards or at most 1 card. So on my turn, if I was taking an actual turn, I might play face down here, and I might play face down here. At the end of my turn, I may discard as much as I want to and draw back up. The other option is yelling boo again. And this is going to happen when there's a few more cards out. So let's say that we've got this player here who's already played, let's put it in this room here. They've already got that card out there, and they played that card. And this player over here played a hidden, or 2, let's say 2 hidden rooms. And let's say it's my turn, and I'm thinking I might be able to break in there, okay? So I'm going to yell boo for this one, and then I check anything that's hidden. And what I need in this case is 2 of the green books here called bump, and 2 of the ice there called chill. I reveal these, and I see if any of those actually work. Now, anything that was not a match is immediately discarded, so this is just gone. Any player that did play something that was necessary, even if it's already up here and it actually wasn't needed, is going to take their little token here and put it on this deck for right now. Then, I check if I have enough to scare this ghost hunter. I need 2 green, 2 blue, as I said. Well, it's not enough out there. But if I can make up the difference from my hand, I do indeed scare them out. So fantastic. They are scared. I keep this card. We're going to cycle this room out. These are going to go back into the discard pile of their player. This is going to go to that player. The card I played is also in my discard pile. This room's out. And we put a new room in. And we put a new ghost hunter in it. Now, everyone who added to what this room needed face down is going to either get a point or draw one of these special cards. Now, this is a variant, this deck of cards here, and so you may play without it, and if you add it to a room, you simply get the skull. This is 1 victory point, but I like this variant. It's very simple to implement anyway, so I would recommend it. On your turn, if you were able to scare one of the hunters out, you are not going to replenish your hand, but if I played actions or if I made what's called a bad boo, meaning I tried to break into a room and I didn't have enough, then I do replenish my hand. The cards played face up would stay there. The ones face down do go away, even if the players that played in there would take points or one of the special cards. This is going to continue until someone scares 4 of these ghost hunters out of the game. Everyone else gets 1 more shot at scaring someone out of a room, and then we're going to add up our victory points. So the points again come from these tokens. You are going to add your starting token here to any ghost hunters you scared out. For every symbol, depending on how many of that symbol you've got, is how many points each one is worth. So for example, this lantern here, I've got 3, so each one is worth 3. 3, 6, 9. This crowbar, I've only got 1 of them, so 1 point. And the key, I've only got 1 of those as well, so that's also only 1 point. This is 11, 12, 13, 14 victory points if this is everything I ended with. Now, these special cards, as I said, are going to give you a special ability, and if you played the card, then you would take into account these skulls at the top. This one gives me 2 skulls, and it says freezing. No visible scares may be played until your next turn. So I could play this to stop everyone else from playing visible scares, and I'm going to get 2 points for that at the end of the game. Some of them even take away victory points, but they have particularly effective powers. Like this one, the Mimic, says play along with a scare from your hand when finishing off a boo, double that scare. So if I'm short 2 cards and I've only got 1, well, I can play this and be able to scare someone away. So there you go, there are those, and that's basically the game. You'll have to cycle out the rooms if they run out, shuffle them up again, and then always make sure that there are 4 available with this many players anyway, and try to get the most victory points. So that should give you an idea of how the whole thing works together. Very simple concept. So let's go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of it. All right, so that is Haunt the House. Let me talk about it. I'm going to start off with things I thought were just okay, and then we'll end strong with some fantastic things about this design here. So things I thought were just okay. Well, the replayability, I think, could suffer if the game gets a lot of play. I think if you stick with it being sort of a Halloween game that maybe you bring out and play with the kids, or maybe, a fairly infrequent affair, then I think it's going to be fine. If it's one you play a lot, you're going to see a lot of the same effects. You are going to perhaps get a little too familiar with it, and that might get stale. Because the game frame, the sort of bones in the system are fairly simple. So I do worry about that replayability. And the other thing I think is just all right is the sort of tactics and strategy in the game. How much you get to be sneaky, how much you get to think things through. Again, this is a game that I think is largely for kids, or at least kids with the family, to be able to play together. But I wonder if the bluffing aspect in it, which sounds great on paper but doesn't really pan out that well, I wonder if that might either be A, too hard for the younger crowd to really grasp when to do it, and B, if they even should do it at all. Because if you bluff in a room, someone else breaks in there, yeah, it's possible they might not be able to break in, but you also don't get anything from bluffing. If you don't bluff, and you actually play a card face down that is needed, you will get a victory point at least out of that. And they might still not be able to break in, which is the ideal thing. So that the bluffing aspect in it is something that I'm not sure I adore. It's something that doesn't quite work out for me. I like the idea of, haha, you thought I played a good card in there and I didn't, so you can't get in, but I also don't get anything for that. And getting those points will add up if you play face down because you're not interested in revealing it, or getting the power in the room. It's sort of like getting a victory point anyway. So now the things I did like about it very much, the theme is great. It's a engaging. It turns the whole ghost hunter and ghost thing on its head, with you being the spooky ghosts trying to scare the humans out. That really works well. I love the components and the look here. The aesthetics are fantastic. They're just knocking it out of the park with this. The graphics are great. Illustrations are fantastic. Card quality is some of the best card quality I've seen in any game. So really tremendous production here. Even the tokens are glow-in-the-dark tokens. They have a little glow-in-the-dark finish on them. So that's just above and beyond, really. And then it's pretty easy to get into. It's a game that, as long as you are maybe helping a little bit some of the younger kids, this says 8 and up. So if you're maybe 8 through 10, might need a little assistance, especially with the scoring. That scoring, with the, if you have multiples of the same symbol, you score as many points as the number of symbols you have per symbol. That's pretty, that's a little tricky to wrap your head around. So as long as they get some help with that aspect of the game, I think it's going to be easy to get into. So I do like Haunt the House. Very well done game. This is one that would make a fantastic gift. Again, especially around, Halloween, as a, not something you're perhaps going to play every weekend or anything like that, but as a fun game to break out and play with the family. Again, assuming that includes younger kids, this is going to go over really well. Haunt the House is a fantastic production. So this one's going to get a seal of approval from me. Very much recommend you check it out and keep an eye out on the company, KTBG, because what they're doing is these kinds of games they are making that keep kids in the equation are really incredible. So again, Haunt the House, seal of approval from me. Thanks for checking this out, and I'm going to see you on the next one.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com.